Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Welcome to the Nina Kauser Show. The sun might have been shining at Anfield, but it was pouring it down with goals on Bournemouth 9-0. Oh my God. I think this show might just go on for like 3 days just talking about the goals. Luckily, I have two excellent guests who are going to talk about this, and it's so great to be on air and be in a really, really happy state and talk about not only a really, really great result, but a really, really good performance as well. And joining me on this podcast, let me introduce my guest. First up, you know what? No longer a jinx. I never thought he was a jinx. I'm not superstitious like that. It is Tom James. Welcome back, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
No. It's great to have you. And, you know, rumour has it that you could have been at Anfield and it didn't quite work out for you. But here you are. I think you picked the better option.
Devastated, but it might have, speaking of superstition, it might have been for the best.
Yeah. Well, you know what? One way or another, it was a win-win for me, and I'm really, really self-centered like that. I get you on the show, and you finally can now put that to bed because obviously I'm not that way inclined to believe in such things. And joining Tom on the podcast, I am so happy to have her on the podcast. You know who she is. You've heard her many a times on the Nina Kauser Show. You've heard her many a times on the Anfield Index podcast. Her golden child probably did her really proud today. It's Miss Lisa Marie. Welcome to the show.
I am so happy to be here, Nina. I mean, the sun is shining as brightly here in Tennessee as it was on Anfield today. So, yay.
Happy days. Right, guys, before I get into, anyone that's joining us live as well on Discord, thank you for joining us live. Really appreciate it. If you want to call in, just type it in the AI Live chat show. I don't know why my voice is going, but here we are.
It's from all the yelling to syllables.
I know, no, there's been a lot of screaming, let's be honest. Like, maybe I need to get some vocal rest. But you know what, let's, before I get into, obviously, talking about the game, I want to get your thoughts. You know, like, that was so needed for me. Like, for me now, it feels like, yes, finally, you know, like, kick on with the season now. That's how I felt. And it was just a great response after a no-show against Man United. And I think that's how I feel. And it's just a bit of a relief. So, Lisa, I'm going to come to you. I mean, how do you feel after that?
I feel wonderful. You know what? You're right. It was so needed on so many fronts, you know, for the fans, for the players, for everybody. And, you know, we talked about this a little bit on the main pod yesterday. And I said, you know, I really think we just need to reset and act as though today was the first game of the season. And I don't know if they heard me. I'm sure that's it. I'm sure they listened to the podcast this morning.
Of course they did, because you told Harvey, and Harvey passed it on to his teammates.
Absolutely. But I feel a little bit as though, you know, that is what happened. It's like, this is the way we wanted the season to start against Fulham. And I just hope that this momentum just carries us through.
Absolutely. And, you know, whilst, you know, I like looking at Discord, and there's a message here from 16 or GFX, and he goes, Alisson must be awfully bored in games like that. I can let you know he just randomly does lunges and just enjoys himself. But yeah, he does keep himself fit and active even when he's got absolutely nothing to do. Tom, I'm going to come to you because for me, so many things were answered in that game. Start off fast, score, do not concede. You know, there was questions around the attack that will they get goals? They got plenty of goals. Will the defense keep a clean sheet? Yes, they will. Will the midfield hold up? Yes, it held up. Roberto Firmino, gets a hat-trick of assists and gets a goal. I mean, like, it was almost like, oh, you had questions we're going to answer today. I mean, I want to get your thoughts in terms of how you feel after that game.
Yeah, I mean, before we go on to us and talk about how incredible we were, and deservedly so, Bournemouth were an absolute joke.
Oh, they were
The way they performed
mm-hmm.
was absolutely diabolical, and I don't know how they're going to go home and look themselves in the mirror tonight, because it was disgraceful how they played. But yeah, I mean, obviously we needed to bounce back. We needed to answer the critics. Obviously, everyone's talking about we're in crisis, this, that, and the other. A good club turns up today and they get the win, and it's great. Let's move forward. But a super club, a top club, they go out and do that, and that's exactly what we did. And yeah, like you say, it was the word intensity has been thrown around a lot, and the lack of, and from the off we were just at it. The way that we've wanted to see us just at it the first few games, we were that for the first 5-10 minutes, like at their throats, and they had absolutely no answer for it. I don't know what their tactical setup was today. I don't know what the game plan was in terms of trying to stop that, because it was obvious that Liverpool needed to respond in some sort of way today, and they weren't ready for it at all.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm kind of glad you kind of highlighted how bad Bournemouth were, but you can only play the team that's put in front of you, right? And, when you kind of look at how they are a newly promoted team, and I know they've not had the easiest fixture list. Aston Villa was obviously the game that they won on the opening day, but, Man City, Arsenal and us, in like you said, like what is going on with their tactics and formation? Because now with all those games, now they've conceded 10 goals in the first half. With five of ours today, and 3 against I think it was Man City, and 2 against Arsenal. Like it's really, really bad. But you know what? We did wonderful. So I don't know what was going on tactically. There was so much space for us, and we'll take it all day long. No complaints from here. Lisa, I'm going to come to you. Team lineup. I feel like there's a lot of meltdown on this subject again, given the injury crisis and obviously some players being out of favour with Liverpool supporters. So team lineup. I mean, what did you make of it?
Well, it was exactly what I predicted yesterday on the podcast, which, I generally enjoy being right. And my first thought was, yeah, I enjoy being right, but not necessarily in the case of this lineup. But to our favor that, as said, Bournemouth, they weren't real great. So the lineup, the midfield, it worked. But, it's not going to work against Newcastle. And, and some of the other opponents that we have down the line. So, I guess the good thing is it worked today. And I just hope that, Klopp doesn't think that, this is what's going to work for the rest of the season.
That was initially my fear as well. I'm glad you addressed it and you said it. You went there, not me. But yeah, I was like, he's shit. I hope he doesn't think that, my team's really great. But I don't think he's like that.
I don't think he will. I don't. Yeah, I don't want to go in, but it's just, and for the most part, overall, look, Bobby brought his game back, and, hopefully this isn't a one-off. I know we were all concerned about him as well after the last couple of performances, but, he for sure brought it today. And hopefully it's, again, it wasn't against a difficult opponent, but hopefully it's the rhythm and the, mojo that he needs, to keep it moving, going forward until we can get, some of the other forward players back into the team. I thought Gomez and Van Dijk looked more, in sync on their partnership today than they certainly did, on Monday against United. So I think there's some, there's obviously some positives to take, midfield aside. And, that we seemed more ourselves today. And again, what we were all hoping to see at the beginning of the season, and just haven't. It's just been so, I don't even know what to call it, disjointed, out of sync, bad. I think looking at the lineup, again, it was what I thought it was going to be. So, that's fine, but it's not what I want to see for the rest of the season.
I don't think you're wrong. And I completely agree with you. It completely worked against this team, and, we'll take it all day long. Tom, what about you, team lineup? Because obviously people would just bin both of those two midfielders, which ones I'm talking about. There were just so many shouts for everything. Change it up, do something. What did you make of the team lineup? Was it pretty much what you expected?
Yeah, more or less I think it was a coin toss between Henderson and Milner playing on that left-hand side.
Yes.
Obviously, a lot's to be said about Henderson playing on the left side of that midfield, but I figured we're never going to be over the moon with what the 11 is going to be today, just by default of what options we have. And at the end of the day, we were coming up against a Bournemouth side, and if we were to go out there and play our game the way we can play it, which luckily we did, I didn't think it really mattered who we had in midfield, but we just needed to go out and do what we do best. That was all that was really important.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, I suppose we were in that situation where if there was one player that you weren't overly sold on that side of the midfield, you could get away with it against that opponent. And I get that completely. Right. I'm going to go to our first caller, Kieran. Kieran, welcome back to the Nina Kauser show. Yep, you know what you need to do. You know the drill.
Oh, thank you very much.
No problem. Kieran, we spoke to you on Monday, and like all of us, you were very, very much deflated, and rightly so. So I'm really, really interested to see how you're feeling today, because quite a good result.
You mind if I speak?
Of course you are. Yeah. The floor's yours. Go for it.
I know. I thought it was a really, really good response to what was a pretty dismal performance on Monday, and it's the kind of result we probably needed, but not by that kind of scoreline. But nonetheless, though, it's just nice to get our season up and running at long last, and hopefully we can build on this. I thought a number of players really stood out today. I thought Bobby looked like Bobby of old, and I thought Diaz was a complete menace. And look, I think the whole team was very good today. And I know it's only Bournemouth, but look, you can only beat what's in front of you. And we just have to hope that this is the start of something. Now we can go on a run, and we see what happens.
Absolutely, and I think you pretty much share what we kind of said before the pod, obviously before you joined us on Discord. Kieran, you can only beat the team that is placed in front of you, and show them absolutely no respect, and Liverpool certainly did that. And there was always that maybe little bit of worry that with how Liverpool have been playing to the build up to this game, that potentially somebody could really, really think that, hey, Liverpool are here for the taking. And Klopp alluded to that as well. He goes, I want to be that team that people fear again. So thank you so much for your call.
My pleasure. Thank you.
No, thank you for kicking things up. Everyone, that was Kieran, our first caller on the Nina Kauser show. Right, I mean, I'm thinking this show's going to be very long, so you know what? Let's just chew through the good stuff, and let's kick things on. And Tom, I am going to come to you first, because one thing I noticed, of course, Liverpool's were intense from the get-go. Our first goal round about 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes. Bobby Firmino, as Kieran touched on there, looked really, really bright, looked really, really sparky, and he was in there, and hooks across into Diaz, and just wonderful, wonderful stuff, because Luis Diaz just leaps up, generates this wonderful power, and just puts it past the keeper. And it was exactly the kind of start you wanted from the Reds, where you didn't want them to be wasteful, because I feel like sometimes we waste chances and then we run out of steam. So it was great that we looked sharp from the get-go, and there was product, and there was success.
Yeah, it was such a breath of fresh air to see, because like I mentioned before, just that general intensity of obviously in our play, and our touch of the ball, opening out and moving the ball on, the pressing when we did lose the ball, everyone was just on top of them and just didn't give them a moment's rest. But just the way that we were able to move the ball, and it felt like every single time we got the ball in the midfield final third, it was just the ball was being swept onto the next person, and just so flowing. And you see the players were intense in their movements, whether it was darting in behind or it was creating a passing lane for someone else. It was just exactly the best kind of Liverpool that we like to see. And from the get go, it was lovely. And Diaz's goal was great because I don't think it was acknowledged, especially on the stream that I was watching, just how difficult a header that is to really generate the power out of. Because
they're a big team as well.
Yeah, and he's got up well, and I mean, in the slow motion clip that I saw of him really using his neck to fling some power into the ball coming across, it was an incredible header, and it was a perfect way to start the game.
It really was. And Lisa, what about you? Did you spill your coffee?
Sorry, I'm on mute. No, I did not spill my coffee. But I will say that after, that was scored, I just couldn't believe. I was making a note and looked up, and then more magic was coming. But Tom's right. It was like watching Liverpool again. The Liverpool that we expect to see. The passing, the pressing, the free flowing. It was, it's what we've come to expect from this team, and where we've all been wondering where they've been hiding it for the last 3 games. So again, I know I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but I'm just so elated, that they've got it back. It's not lost, and let's just hope that this is the first of many, many games where we see the type of play that we expect to see from this team.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It really was. It did. The movement and everything just felt like very much like the Liverpool kind of way, and how we kind of have been phenomenal against so many teams, and showing our class, and we certainly had it in abundance today. And Lisa, I'm going to stick with you because you touched on a bit of magic that happened, and I've got to come to you first, given who the goal scorer was. So I want you to talk about, the Elliott goal, because literally within 3 minutes, I'm going to put it at 6 minutes. I've got 550 here. Let's just call it 6. Elliott, I mean, first of all, what a lovely goal that he actually scores, and a really, really deserved goal as well, given the performances that he's been putting in when the team have not been overly great. And again, Roberto Firmino involved. I mean, was it a layoff, or did your golden child just kind of take it off him and just take the shot? But talk to me about that.
Well, the mother in me wants to say that he just took it, but it may have been a layoff. I don't know. I haven't really had a chance to watch it back multiple times, as I'm sure I will, being the proud mother. But I think, and again, aside from all kidding aside, it was nice in a way to see Harvey's hard work the last few games kind of pay off. He has continued to be involved, not given up, and just that tenacity and determination that we all appreciated him, and and he that we saw that pay off, I think, to a degree. Right now he's always looking for that pass, for that shot, for the next move, and and he took advantage of it. And hopefully this is the first of many times we see that, not this season, but, in the coming years from him. But it was. And then I have to say, after that, I just kind of was just so elated. I don't think I did for about 10 minutes. Not only, it wasn't even that. And this happened to me many times during the game, where I was just enjoying what I was watching so much that I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I've got to talk about this in some detail. I need to be, writing some things down. And I think that's the overwhelm this whole match is it was just fun to watch them play again.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was the joy. And Tom, I'm going to come to you. Talk to me about Elliott's goal, what it meant to him, and what your thoughts about the build up to the goal, because I felt like there was a lot of really nice build up. I felt there was a lot of there was that team cohesion, just wonderful goals. I mean, obviously there's so many to talk about, but I want to get your thoughts on the Elliott one.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, I can't remember the last time I got goosebumps from a goal, but for some reason, Harvey scoring and seeing how much it meant to him in his face, and obviously you saw the tears. it gave me goosebumps, and it was just kind of like that perfect little moment where, he deserved that. And, even in the last few weeks when the chips have been down, he's been the one that's one of the few that are trying to inject some tempo, just trying to do what he can to drag us through some moments. And, he's a 19-year-old kid. And when you see that and you see how much it means to him, it's not much better. And I mean, and what a goal as well. It's such a good finish.
It really was.
The gall of him to just go and take it off Bobby's foot as well, which, to be fair, it did look like just a bad touch. And but he didn't hesitate to absolutely latch onto that and put it right where the keeper was going to get nowhere near it. And I mean, of all the goals today, that was my favourite. The goal was my favourite, but just in general circumstance, the fact that it was Harvey makes it even more so.
There you go, people. We don't need to have a spoiler alert on that one. So that, no doubt, that is Lisa Marie's favourite goal as well, for obvious reasons. And Tom's ranking it as his favourite goal as well. Wonderful stuff indeed. It was great to see the guy get a goal. Hopefully more to come from Elliot. Although someone did put that he might be injured, which is why Klopp made the change. I hope that's not true. I've not heard anything. We've just come on live straight after the game, so bear with us, people, and we'll figure more things out as the pod progresses, or as we hear something from Jurgen Klopp and co. Okay, just going to take a little breather from them two goals. I'm going to go on to our next caller. I am going to go to Sandeep. Hopefully we don't have mic issues today. Sandeep, are you with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you crisp clear. Welcome to the Nina Kauser show.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a long time since I rang in. I just had just thoughts on the game. I think we were back to being Liverpool again. I think Klopp must have given them a kick up the arse. The only question I did have, do you think does the panel still think we need a midfielder after seeing that? Or do you think that might cloud our judgment and Klopp might get excited and think, I'm okay?
Okay, before I go to the panel, I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you think we need a midfielder?
Yeah, we do. I want 3, but I think at least one needs to come in, I think, just for the numbers. Especially if Naby's down tools or he's injured or whatever Naby's doing. So, yeah, that's what I think. But I think definitely one more. If it's Frankie, then yeah, definitely. So. Okay,
so he's even told us what kind of midfielder he wants as well. Wonderful stuff, Sandeep. I am going to take a little breather from the game and I will ask the panel this. We kind of touched on it. I kind of feel like I know where this is going. I am going to come to Tom first on this one. Tom, I mean, I don't think this performance should cloud our judgment. I mean, I know Roberto Firmino had a really, really good game and I was so happy to see him get them goals and, and Henderson looked okay in that game. But for me, it was the opposition and, maybe there's levels to certain players and who they look good against top elite level opposition, which you are going to come against, and even not so top elite level teams in the Premier League. We need a class above. And I'm with Sandeep and probably with every other thinking Liverpool supporter in the sense that no, just this doesn't pave over the cracks.
It certainly doesn't. We could have played without midfield today and we'd have been fine. I'm with Sandeep. We need 2, and I'll take one depending on the caliber of player or who the player is. But yeah, I still think we need 2. If Naby leaves, we need 3. There was still moments today where I saw the captain kind of gallivanting and wherever he likes. There was that opportunity earlier in the first half where he kind of got in Salah's way a little bit, and
he's in an offside position as well, wasn't he? Slightly.
Yeah, and it's just like you're playing against a team that maybe has more so of a counter-attacking ability, and all of a sudden we're in a pretty vulnerable spot. But it just so happens that we're playing against a team where we can get away with it. But yeah. My verdict is absolutely yes, we still need midfielders.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I think in the second half we went on a darting run through the middle and I was like, yeah, today we're in a position where this midfield is more non-existent than the one that we fielded on Monday. Lisa, I'm going to come to you. You kind of touched on this as well, but let's just get it one more time.
Well,
thoughts on a midfielder?
Absolutely, I concur. We need a midfielder. I mean, 1 for sure, 2 would be preferred, and if Naby's off, then 3 would be a bonus. But for sure, I think we need 1, and as I said, and I think we absolutely need. But yeah, I mean, it's the popular opinion because it's the right opinion. I mean, if we're going to get through this season, especially with the Champions League fixture starting and, going to the 2 games a week, et cetera, and all the other arguments that have been given, we need to strengthen the midfield.
No, you're absolutely spot on. So, Sandeep, we completely agree with you. It is the logical thing that we do need, at least 2. And if you can get 3, let's just be really greedy. But I think that is now where the focus should be now, getting in the right midfielders and yeah.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, as I thought. Thanks for answering the question, guys. And up the Reds. Hopefully we can beat Newcastle on Wednesday. So.
Better, Ad, because I'm covering it, and I think we all want happy vibes. So yes, Sandeep, thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. Right, listeners, that was Sandeep. It was great to finally get him on the Nina Kauser show. We did have some technical issues on Monday, but it seems like Gags has sorted those out, and hopefully we'll hear from him more as the season progresses. Okay, I have a question from Eddie, but I'm going to save it because I want to get back into the game because Lord knows I've got so many goals to talk about and so many things to talk about. And Tom, I'm gonna come to you because it was just mad. I mean, 8 minutes. We were doing so well. We were moving the ball. There was a lovely piece of play around about 15 minutes. It finished 9-0, but it could have been 10 because, again, what really impressed me was, the goals were impressive, but even like how we were kind of moving the ball and around about 15 minutes, Diaz passes it to Elliot, to Firmino on the left-hand side. He flicks the ball back to Elliot. Elliot zips it across the box and Salah just couldn't make it. We were in that situation again where Liverpool could have had those perfectly worked team goals. And that's what gave me like a lot of cohesion. It was those moments.
Yeah, things just clicked and everything was kind of paying off where, sometimes the pass is too heavy, sometimes the crosses are, an inch too far or the shot's just wide. But things were just clicking today and things were just moving the right way. And yeah, I think just in general, the football was just crisp. And I think that just goes down to just being that little bit sharper and just having that extra 10% intensity or probably another 60% intensity compared to the last few games. But yeah, when and one thing to absolutely needs to be noted is Bobby playing well, and it's no secret that when Bobby plays well, we play well. And when Bobby,
I actually had that on my notes. Bobby's instrumental.
Yeah, when Bobby's at it, we tick, and when we tick, we do this stuff to teams. And Bournemouth were crushed, and we almost got double digits in goals. It's just the way it's worked for a long time with us. When Bobby's right, we're at it.
Can I ask you both a question? Because obviously Bobby had a really, really good game. He got a goal and got a hat-trick of assists, He was absolutely sensational today, was Bobby Firmino, getting in on the scoring action and, of course, getting the assist. So I've got to ask you the question, 2 goals, 3 assists. He could have had a hat-trick of goals as well today if he'd not got subbed off. Is this Bobby back because he is aging, or is this maybe the level that he is quite clinical? And this is where he can cause some devastation, this kind of opposition, this kind of team, this kind of space, this kind of movement. And Lisa, I'll come to you first on that one. I know it's a hard one because we all love Bobby, but we have seen him on the decline for quite some time now.
Yeah, I think it is probably more the latter, that, it's more depending on the opposition. We used to see Bobby do this no matter the opposition, but I think it is going to be, depending on the opposition as to, whether he can, run rampant like this. And you know what? That's okay, because we need the different options, again, to keep the rotation and everything else in the team. So, I mean, I think, if he can, keep it if he can keep it at this level, then yeah, I mean, I want to, I'd like to see Bobby hang around, for another season or so after this. But we, if there's a decline like everyone was speculating about after the first couple of games, I mean, we just really don't have room in the squad for that. So, I mean, I think it's too small of a sample to really be able to say one way or the other for certain, but I really do hope that today was, I mean, it gave him confidence too. I mean, probably no one knew better than Bobby that he had not played well, in the game. So this is a confidence builder for him, and that can help too. So let's just hope it stays on this trajectory.
You know what? It's been a really, really busy day at Anfield when you had a brain fart moment and you forgot that Bobby Firmino scored 2 goals and he's not scored since 2020. So shame on me in that regard. They
mentioned it a couple times on the coverage I was watching. I mean, they mentioned it as soon as he scored, and then it was mentioned at least once, if not twice, a couple other times, throughout the match. But
including his 100th goal as well.
Oh, really? Okay, now that one I didn't hear. Now that's
his 99th and 100th goal today for Liverpool.
Yay, Bobby.
Nice. You know what? There you go. There was a record broken then, and happy days indeed. But yeah, it was great to see him scoring. Tom, same question to you. I mean, you know what the situation is with Bobby. I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I think the more, I mean, there's nothing I'd love more than to see him go on keep this run up this form up for a run of 7-8 games. But the likelihood is that, it's one of few. And to be fair, I think it's forgotten that last season he played quite an important role, but that role's just stripped back from what it used to be. It used to be that he was one of the main men on that front line. But if there was a few times last season where he, started one in a few and contributed, got a goal or an assist, or there was times where he come off the bench and got 1 or 2 goals. That he played his part, but it was just a more watered down version than what we're used to with him. And I think today's probably one of those instances where he's contributed massively, but in the long run, you've got Jota, you've got Nunez, who are going to probably be a bit more involved through that central role, be the key factors in how we move forward. And Bobby's going to kind of be, a more stripped back version, which might play into his hands considering where he's at in his career and where he's at physically. And I mean, I wouldn't be holding my breath that he's going to be carrying this form forward for extensive period of time, but that's kind of where we're at with him, and I'm kind of at peace with that now.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the best approach to have with Bobby as well. I think you both made some really, really good points there that, it's okay if he's at a level, maybe he's a different kind of a nightmare against them, different oppositions. But yeah, for me, I pretty much felt that as well. I was like, I loved it when Bobby came to Liverpool and loved loved what he's done for the club and stuff. But you do notice that it's natural players' age, they lose that intensity, that spark. But it was good to see him today. And Tom, I'm going to stick with you because let's talk about Trent's beauty. And again, Firmino was involved. What really kind of impressed me about this goal was it was a real kind of trademark Trent Alexander-esque kind of, shot. It was beautiful. He scores gorgeous goals. You kind of expect that from him. But also to the build-up, before that, I was quite impressed with how, the midfield kind of worked and Hendo tried winning the ball back and it kind of ricocheted. And, there was good work going into that before Trent takes the shot.
Yeah, it was a well-earned goal. I mean, like you say, in just the tenacity of winning the ball back, but then just, like I mentioned before, when we did get the ball, it wasn't stagnated. It wasn't, knock it back to Virgil and we start again. It was get the ball, look forward, sweep the ball forward for an option. Trent was at the heart of creating his own goal. He picked the ball up in the middle of the pitch, played his pass and just went. And then when he kind of got within 25 yards, you can tell like the first thought was who's available, who's making the run, is there someone making space in the box or something like that. But then he thought, no, I tell you what, there's a lane there for a shot, and when Trent hits it and when he connects with it right, there's not really any keepers in the world that's going to be able to stop it. And especially with that shot, no one's getting near that.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. I mean, Lisa, what did you make of that goal? And just the build up to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the build up again is what we're used to seeing from this team. The passing to build up to these goals and not just relying on a lucky shot or a breakaway or something else. I mean, we were responding as a team. It wasn't just one or two people dragging us back to where we needed to be. We were seeing a team response. And again, I think that's just, one more thing to add to the joy that we can take from this win, is that it wasn't just one or two players responding to what had happened on Monday. It was responding. And I love nothing more than, when we score multiple goals, that they're spread across the team. And, and again, seeing one from Trent, that just, adds to it. If, we see a high score like this, you almost expect that somebody has gotten a hat trick, but nobody did. And Salah didn't score. So it's the response we needed. And Trent's goal, I mean, there's nothing more lovely than seeing him score goals like that. They're still rare enough that they're kind of a nice surprise. But I mean, again, if you're looking over, the course of his career, they're not, it's not like he does it once every 3 seasons, but let's just hope that's the first of, 5 or 6 like this that we see this season.
Absolutely. It was stunning. And to me, that goal just, for me, just embodied what Trent Alexander-Arnold can do. I remember just getting all excited when he got that goal against Hoffenheim. In the Champions League, when we had that knockout game against them and stuff, and he kind of announced himself like, "Ooh, this, to Europe." So yeah, here he is, and yeah, you kind of expect that from him, and yeah, and again, on a side note for Trent as well, I thought they all played really well, but I thought he had a really, really good game. He was like just trying to get involved in all the creative side of things. And I'm going to stick with you, Lisa, because, hat-trick of assists, and then we were like, oh, it'd be nice if he got a goal, because he's worked really hard, bless him. And fly-kicking Firmino, I mean, he gets his goal. One thing about Roberto Firmino is he has this, I don't know, this aura, or I don't know how he is in front of goal, but he always looks like I find him very elegant in front of goal, I think is what I'm trying to say. And he does things that are a bit showboaty and things. And I like that. And I love the way he took his goal. And I think he just genuinely, like you said, looks so happy, and just a massive relief that, like we've all alluded to, he's not scored still since 2020. He's probably watching and thinking, shit, I'm getting everyone an assist and I'm a selfless player, and that's cool. But it'd be nice if I got a goal. And it was nice to see him get the goal. Oh,
absolutely. It was nice to see him get the goal. And it was even nicer to see him get 2. Not to jump ahead, but yeah, I mean, you're right. There is something about Bobby that he's elegant is a good word. He's just, we think of Jota kind of as that poacher, and Mo does these amazing things, and to pull off goals, and Bobby, there's just something understated often about how he scores the goals, where he gets flicks of a tap in or just something. And, and this again was just a really nice, well-worked goal. The build-up play and everything to it. And that's just, it's just, I know I keep feeling like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but, there's a lot of goals to talk about. So, hey, yeah, but it's, as we alluded to, I don't think we can expect this type of performance from him every game, but if he can do it when he's called upon, then that's what we need. That's what we need from him. And just please let it continue.
Absolutely. And, whilst Lisa's been talking there, Layla put a still there, Tom, of Bobby no-look finish. I think one thing I loved about the Bobby goal as well was the fact that hearing, C. Senior being sang again, because obviously he's had a really, really good game. And again, I want Bobby to score a lot more goals because I'm sorry, his goals are great, but his celebrations are even better on a normal day. So, Tom, what did you make of Bobby scoring and the goal?
Yeah, it was well earned. Obviously, 3-0 up and 3 assists. You think, it would be nice for him to get one himself. And
for me as well, Tom, right place, right time today, because he was so lost against Man United in that midfield.
Yeah, and that's because he didn't have to with the United game, because the midfield was so non-existent. He felt like he had to drop so deep to try and make things happen, which then ultimately cost us in the final third as well. But yeah, I mean, and I think it's quite understated how difficult a finish that was for his first goal today as well. I mean, I'm not sure I'd want Mo Salah on the end of that. I don't think he's. I mean, it's not really his fault. His legs are so short compared to Bobby, maybe. But I mean, just the instinct and the know-how to be able to get himself up the way he did, and the way to kind of control that ball and to keep it down under the bar, that sort of thing. I think it's not an easy finish, and he did really well. And I mean, pretty much everything he touched was pretty spot on today. So it was well in keeping with his performance.
It really was. Let's move on because there's plenty of goals to talk about. And let's move on. Tom, I'll stick with you because I thought, when you're like 4-0 up and you're like really happy, you're really buzzing, you're enjoying, and you're like, yes, finally the season has kicked on for Liverpool. They look so good. And let's talk about the fifth goal because it came pretty much right on injury time, not injury time, just on 45 minutes before injury time. Robbo corner, Virgil van Dijk proving that he is a threat in the air and on set pieces. I mean, great to see him score as well, given the fact that, again, a player that's been under a fair bit of scrutiny from the media and the press and even the fan base as well, So great to see him on the score sheet as well. And again, I don't think we should be surprised that Virgil van Dijk is really good in the air, given the fact that he's the unit. But yeah, your thoughts on goal number 5?
Yeah, no shock. It's no shock that he got there and kind of delivered the header that he did. No, it's just nice. I think the main thing with that goal was just that it was nice that he got himself on the score sheet just after the week that he's had, and I'm sure that he's seeing the things that people are saying about him, justified and unjustified. And yeah, I mean, it was shocking marking and shocking defending, to be honest, to give him the space, and there was no one really challenging for that header. I think it was mostly Liverpool players that were in his way to actually making that header. So yeah, I think more than anything, it's just nice that he got himself on the scoreboard and give him a bit of a boost, and obviously got his clean sheet, on which I'm pretty sure he'll probably care more about at the end of the day. But just good all round.
Absolutely. And Lisa, Robbo getting an assist there. If Trent can score them, I'll get the assist. But for me, I mean, I was just kind of quite relieved at the fact that, maybe the set piece quality might improve as well as the season progresses, because again, that was something that I've been quite disappointed with this season. So, that was another positive that I took away from that. But I want to get your thoughts on just the Virgil van Dijk goal and,
I had written down the exact same thing. It's like our set pieces look better today. I mean, again, the opposition, but the balls are being delivered into the right places, which is on our players. So
yes,
but yeah, I mean, that's that has nothing to do with whoever we're playing. We have to get the ball to the right place, to the players in the right spot in the box, and so that was happening today, and it has been, frankly, kind of shocking. Even at the end of last season, if I'm recalling correctly, the set pieces just weren't coming off the way we had all grown so accustomed to them doing so. So yeah, I'm hoping this is something that, maybe they've worked on a lot in preseason, maybe especially this week. And because when we that was one of the things I always remember when I first really started paying attention to the hows and the nuances and everything of this team a few years back, is that, we could really rely on those goals from set pieces. And that had fallen off in the last season or so. So I'm hoping that something that worked on to address, to get it back to the standards. And again, it's nice to see Virgil back there and available to score one of those for us. And yeah, it was well deserved for him, after some of the criticism he's received this week.
Absolutely, and you couldn't be spot on about the set pieces, because nothing frustrated me more than our corner not beating the first man. It's like, what the hell? So yeah, like you said, delivered in the right place, right time.
And I think it was more frustrating because we could always get it right, and then for whatever reason, it just sort of fell off a cliff. And maybe it's just who knows. Regardless, hopefully this is a return to form as far as that's concerned.
Yep, it worked today, right? So it finished half-time 5-0. Now's the time to get your sheet masks on and pamper yourself, because it was all fun and all things. But I'm going to just take a little quick breather from the football, and I've got a question here from Eddie Gibbs. And I'm going to come to, it's something that Lisa alluded to, Tom. And, she goes, 9 goals and Salah, not on the score sheet. So Eddie's got a question here. What's up with Salah? Harder to miss than score at least one of his chances. He really wanted it, didn't he, today? Like, you could really see it. In the first half, he had a few. We spoke about them in the pod. And then, obviously, in the second half, we'll get to that as well. And I felt like, he was really, really doing his best to, get that record, do something, and also maybe get Liverpool the 10th. But just wasn't happening for him. I mean, I think there was one, I know I'm jumping the gun here, but, there was one that really, really kind of stuck out to me where, Fab's ball to Salah, and he had great control, but then shoots it over to the cop. Like the control was fantastic, and, but the shot afterwards was, not great. But to answer Eddie's question.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we got our season up and running today. We won 9-0, but I bet he's going to be at home absolutely fuming tonight. If we know anything about that guy, he's going to be absolutely livid for himself that he's not got himself on the score sheet. And that's probably the only negative that I've got from the game. Is as soon as it kind of got to 4-5, I was saying to my friend who was watching it with, surely we don't score 6 without Salah on the score sheet. Okay, so surely we don't score 7 without Salah on the score sheet. Oh, and then just kept happening. And yeah, I think that one with when Fab clipped it over the top, is incredible ball, and like he'd done the hard part with a real touch, setting it onto his left foot as well, and it just seemed like he snatched it. It seemed like it was kind of like finally I'm going to get my goal, and just tried to slam it home and posted, maybe just chopping it in the corner, just little. All it took really was just a little dink into the corner, and he probably got his goal. But but all that means now is just that he's going to be an angry Salah playing against Newcastle, and he's got probably a hat trick worth to make up for. So
an angry Salah against Newcastle, maybe not a bad prospect, Lisa, the same question to you from Eddie there.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Tom, I was doing the same thing. All right, the next one's got to be Salah. All right, Salah's going to get this one. Nope, no. I mean, it was just, and it almost became, I don't want to say funny because it's not really the right word, but
he was laughing.
Yeah, well, and he was. You could kind of see him laughing too. So,
He's probably thinking, shit.
Yeah, he's probably like, what the hell?
Firmino's speaking today, and I'm starving. Where am I? What upside down is this?
what world?
You see that with the top players.
Yeah.
You see that with the top players. I remember seeing it was Haaland in the first game of the season, maybe. I think it was just like, I know when he missed the chance against us in the Community Shield, and he just smiled. Because sometimes when you're a good player, you're a top player, and you're a great goal scorer, goals are going to come regardless. And sometimes you just smile and laugh and just think, okay, it's just one of those days for me.
Yeah, today's
it's also worth noting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting, Haaland did not. He did have many touches against Bournemouth. He did get an assist for Gundogan, but he didn't score as well. And he had another one of those little snapshots as well. And when he missed it, he smiled as well. Yeah. So there you go.
Maybe
it's
a hat trick today.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Which that
He
may
shouldn't
be
have been
some
on the
motivation
pitch,
for Mo
but yeah.
too. Yeah, that might motivate Mo a little bit for against Newcastle as well. Who knows? I mean, I guess the overwhelming thing to take away from it is the fact that we didn't need Mo to score today. So, that's fine. And yeah, you could see that. I mean, I'm sure he probably was frustrated with himself to a degree, but he wasn't letting it affect his play, if that makes sense. He was just like, well, yep, that one didn't go in, and so I'm not really worried about it, other than I would have just liked very much for him to have made it 10. And the cherry on top of the well-iced cake. But it is what it is, and yeah, again, hopefully, that just motivates him and pushes him that much harder to kick on, against Newcastle and whoever's after that. Everton, I think, right?
Everton, yes, it is. Right, okay, so let's move on to the second half. I want to get your thoughts as well, because I'm looking at Discord live chat as well. So half-time, Jurgen Klopp makes a sub, takes off Elliott, brings on Carvalho. Nigel there puts in a screenshot from Indicalia's Twitter. Harvey Elliott was taken off for injury concern. Nothing serious, they say, LFC. I mean, I don't know if this is the official line or is this just ITK. Tom, you've commented in there as well. Gags is like, damn. Obviously, we'll have to hear and see more about that. Lisa's gutted, the last parent to know about the situation, but hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not serious. We'll have to just wait on that one, but. Yeah, Gags is like saying 2 more players, please. I mean, guys, just get your reaction to that really, really quick on air. I mean, Lisa, be devastating for the kid, right? Given the fact that what happened to him last season,
Yeah, and it may just be a knock or a niggle because, I mean, he was on the bench, I think, for most of the second half. So if it was something, of big concern, surely they would have been doing something room or whatnot. And I mean, again, it probably was. I mean, since we're a little thin in the midfield department, and we're up 5-0 at halftime, it probably was a precaution. Let's go ahead and put Carvalho on and let him get some minutes and and get some rhythm in his game as well. So I am going to remain, as always, hopefully optimistic.
I love it, and that's probably the way to be. And Tom, I think you've shared something in here on Discord. Doesn't sound too bad. What I'd like to get your thoughts.
Yeah, just from what I'm reading, I just had a quick look, and it sounds as though it was literally just based off the scoreline. It was maybe just a little niggle, and as the scoreline was where it was at, they just thought, yeah, let's not take any risks. So hopefully, he'll be back in a couple of days.
Indeed. Right. Okay, I'm going to just be absolutely real with you. So I went and got myself a little quick bite to eat from the kitchen, which was actually just a banana because I needed energy. And I went to go and get a piece of fruit. Was about to sit down. Started again, didn't it? The whole thing, the goals. I can't believe I'm complaining, but I was like, shit. But Liverpool pretty much started off with the same kind of intensity. I'm going to come to you, Tom, on goal this time round. We'll help you out, Liverpool. Obviously they were checking it on VAR on my stream, and if Diaz got the last touch on it, it obviously would have been ruled off, but it was an own goal. I'll take that in those circumstances. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good ball from Trent. And it was kind of typified of like how the first half started, where he was picking up the ball, quickly moving the ball on. Trent obviously saw it was Diaz making the run at the back post, wasn't he? And he spotted him and quickly got the ball out of his feet and quickly fired the ball round to the back post, and it was a great ball. And there was a little bit of confusion. It looked as though Diaz was offside, but I didn't know where the rules came in as far as Diaz's interference in the play. But I wasn't complaining.
No, not at all. And Lisa, you, but you were just like, I've just sat down.
Right? Because I was upstairs today watching. When I'm going to be doing one of the shows, I watch up at my office so I can not be interrupted by the rest of the family. So I'd run down to warm up my coffee because it's still morning time here, and grab a bagel. And I was like, wait a minute, But you know what? I was glad to see that we started. We're 5-0 up. We could have taken our foot off the gas a little bit and just sort of coasted to the win. And I was happy to see that we didn't do that. That we just kept coming. I think that was, just what we wanted to see. And again, can only be what this team needs to keep that momentum going. So but you're right. I felt like I barely had a chance to, get myself settled, and I was like, all right, we're off to the races again. And that is fine.
Absolutely. And Tom, I'll come to you. We kind of spoke about set pieces, and on 61 minutes, Liverpool more joy again. This time a short corner by Robbo. Plays it to Carvalho. I think he sends it back to Robbo, and then obviously Robbo puts in the cross. Keeper kind of, I think, pushes it out, and Bobby pretty much reacts. Right place, right time, I guess putting the wrongs right for Manchester United, where, Bruno Fernandes and I think it was Martinez who had like a brain fart moment with them. And obviously, I think there was just probably so much mental fatigue in that game, and just everyone was just off it. But just seeing Bobby being bright and sparky, anticipating some kind of danger or some kind of mess up was, again, another positive that I took from the game and that goal.
Definitely, yeah. I feel like it was just kind of typical of the mindset probably of the day, and just how they were switched on, and just it's probably been drilled into them over the last few days that do not let a minute go by where you're not absolutely switched on and going full whack, doing going through the game plan and doing what we do. And there's no good Bobby performance it's not a good Bobby performance if it's not topped off of a no-look Bobby finish. So it's perfect way to kind of finish and cap off his performance.
Absolutely, and it was great. It was absolutely great. And again, it's something that kind of Jurgen Klopp kind of mentioned in his press conference as well. Every player is responsible for everything. And Lisa Marie, I'm going to come to you on that goal. Bobby Firmino getting his second. What did you make of it?
Again, it was set up by another good set piece from us. Taking a little bit differently. The short corner worked. Seems like sometimes those don't come off, but it did. And, and it set that goal up for him. And if Bobby's going to get one, then I certainly want him to get two. And, he can take that away, as I've mentioned, we've all mentioned, he can take that away as, as a move in the right direction. And it was just good to see. I feel like I've used up all the happy words already.
We need to invent more now, because there was plenty of joy. Plenty of joy in that game. And then obviously Jurgen Klopp makes the subs again, triple sub, and I think when you're winning in that kind of fashion, and Tsimikas, Millie, and Bajcetic come on for Robbo, Bobby, and Hendel. I think probably zero complaints from any of us. Am I right, guys? We're just cool with it. We're like,
Oh yeah, no, I think they were all good subs. They were, made at a good point, I think. In the past, I know there's been some criticism for Klopp that he takes too long, but that's usually when we're needing a change. We're needing subs to affect, whatever's happening in the game. That was not the case today, but I think again it was all good to give. Some of the, not so much Millie, but the others, some good minutes in their legs, to get some, just some good time in on the pitch with the rest of the team.
Absolutely. And I'll come to you, Tom, because again, we know what all those players are and what they offer. But I was quite, it was quite nice for me to see, and probably a lot of people to see, Bajcetic kind of play in this kind of game, because that's where you kind of bring on these young players, where there's no shackles, basically. Just go out and enjoy your game. And I was watching him and I actually found him quite impressive. I liked him. I liked his movement. I love the fact that as soon as he gets on the pitch, he's involved, in the middle of the park, putting a pass, to Fabinho, I think it was. But I liked him today.
Yeah, and I think that's another positive, that in that position in the game where we've kind of, not only does it do wonders for, I'm sure, our psyche, our mental position, where obviously we've bounced back in a really big way, but it also affords us just that opportunity to bring these players on where we don't really have great options from the bench at the moment, being able to take some midfielders off, some players off, to give them a bit of a rest, and being able to bring on these guys and give them a little bit of exposure to first team football, I think is a really big plus. And yeah, I thought he was good when he came on. He's very tidy on the ball, looks very very bright, and I hope we get to see a bit more of him. Hopefully some League Cup action, hopefully a few more 9-0s that we can bring him on in the middle of to give him some minutes. But yeah, I liked his cameo, and I think it's quite important that we gave ourselves that opportunity today to be able to give some other people some opportunities and rest some of the more important legs.
You're on mute.
Oh my God, and I really, really went off on like a full-on thing there as well. I just said, basically, for anyone that didn't hear me, which was pretty much everyone except for my four walls, that I didn't watch an awful lot of preseason. Actually, I watched no preseason, and I know he did feature for the Reds, and I know a lot of people thought what they saw of him, they were quite impressed with, but I didn't see that. So for me, I was quite excited to see him today. I mean, what did you make of him, Lisa? Seeing that you pulled me up on my excellent producing skills there.
Hey, it happens to us all. We all start off talking on mute. No, I did. I think he looked very, confident, assured. He didn't look out of place at all, which I think is, often the most important thing when you bring these young players on like this is, we don't need them to come on and do something just spectacular. We just need them to be able to come on and, just do a job and, and look like, they belong where they're at. They don't look out of their depth or any of those other things. And I think he very much did that. I mean, he does. And I did see him a little bit in preseason, and he strikes me as a very, he's got that kind of same sort of calm presence that we all noted about Tyler Morton, when he came on and played some of those matches last year, is just that sort of calm, quiet confidence in what he's in. And I think, this is a perfect game for him to get some of those minutes. I think we're likely to see him in a lot of the cup games, this season. And I think, that's the best way to build these players up, is not to expect too much from them too soon.
Yeah. The last thing you want is these young players to have like the world weight on their shoulders, having to carry like the problematic, the problems, of the senior players maybe not performing in the midfield. You want them to be understudies and learn and use them as mentors. Completely get it, because otherwise we're going back to that phase where we put so much pressure on a young Raheem Sterling. It's almost wrong. You shouldn't really do that. So yeah, I'm with you. And Tom, I'm going to come back to you because 81 minutes. I think again, every time Carvalho's come on, I thought he's really, really impressed. He got a goal again. For me, it was not only was the goal taken really, really well, and great to see that player get a goal as well, because again, I think he's going to be another attacking option for Jurgen Klopp. We can change it up tactically as well. He offers something. I really, really like this goal again. Trent involved with the switch of play to Chimikas, and of course, Carvalho just delivering their goods there and scoring his his Premier League goal for Liverpool in front of the Kop was probably a very, very nice moment as well.
Yeah, another really nice moment. And again, he was really bad. Bright. Sorry?
It's so bad, isn't it, that we're running out of adjectives now? We're just like...
Yeah, I know. It's like every time I'm repeating myself, but it's kind of like typical of the day. It was just like a nice breeze of an afternoon, like, just consistent throughout. But yeah, it was just a nice moment for him, and I feel like he's earned that as well. The cameos that he's made in the first few games, he's had a couple of good opportunities where you see his ability technique-wise. There's had a couple of opportunities where he's caught the ball well, and it's maybe just gone just wide, or the keeper saved it, or he's just been close. And sometimes, if you just keep knocking on the door, it will happen for you. And today, I mean, the goal was, I think it was Tsimikas who got the assist, wasn't it?
Yes,
his touch was beautiful, just absolutely perfect to drop, and he was able to set himself properly and keep the ball down. And the keeper had no chance in it. Yeah, it was a great moment just to get him and Harvey with their first Premier League goals for us on the same day. It was perfect.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fulham FC. And Lisa, I'll come to you. Carvalho's goal, very, very great to see him getting the goal. I think he's going to be one that fans are going to absolutely love. I think he's a joy to watch. And it's just great to see him get a goal as well, because he very nearly got one against Man United on Monday, and so yeah.
Yeah, some of the good, the very few goods or positives from that game, kind of got lost in the overwhelming bad. And Carvalho was, a little bit of one of those bright spots on Monday.
He was.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was so nice to see him, and you can see what it meant to him, to get that goal, that first goal there, on the top side of the pitch, and but as much as that, it was nice to see the cross from Costas for the corner, putting it where it needed to go, because again, frankly, the last couple games when he has come on, to replace Robertson, he everybody's been like, oh, good, Robo's been crap. Let's get Costas on, and then Costas has not been any better, if not in some cases a little bit worse. So I was happy,
and he has come back from an injury as well. So it's good to see him have that kind of performance as well.
I think a knee, or I don't know, some little knock at the very right at the end of preseason or something. But again, it was good to see his crosses being, or his corners, all of it being more on point and more what we're used to seeing from him. To me, that was as much a positive, from the Carvalho goal as the goal itself.
Absolutely. And Lisa, I'm going to stick with you because, again, there was a sub. Trent came off, Clark came on. Again, I thought Trent had a really, really wonderful game. It was really, really good to see him sort of being really, really involved in the attack and getting a goal as well. Good to see, on the 82 minutes, Clark coming on. It's great. This is where you bring on the kids, because we did look at that bench at the beginning and probably thought, well, it is Bournemouth and that was absolutely fine. But, I think it was quite scary and glaring against Man United as well, because those names did feature against that opposition as well. So, seeing those players come on, you don't mind it too much. But let's move on. You spoke about Tsimikas there, and he delivered the goods on the corner, and Diaz, laps it up all day, every day. But again, really good on the set pieces.
Absolutely. You know what? Diaz just bookended the day nicely, didn't he? He got the first goal, he got the last goal, and
I like it.
I know, so much to enjoy in between. So yeah, I mean, again, I think that's one of I really wasn't thinking about it at the time, but as we've been going through the podcast here, that is one of the best positives to take away from this game, is that our set pieces looked 100 times, if not 1,000 times better than what they have in the recent past. So that's a positive. Again, there are so many positives, but, some of them are a little skewed by who we were playing, whereas I think the corners and those sorts of things, that doesn't matter. As I said before, you've got to put them in the right spot for us to be able to to score from them, and we were spot on with that. Robo, Trent, and and Tsimikas all. So that's good. That's good.
It is indeed. And Tom, over to you on the last goal.
Yeah, I think Lisa Marie summed it up pretty perfectly.
I think something that we've got to kind of say as well was, and you mentioned it at the beginning of the pod, Bournemouth were they made it so easy for us as well, didn't they?
They were done at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were beyond done. I mean, I don't know if Diaz gets away with that. I mean, even the goalkeeper. I don't know how it's got past the goalkeeper at the front post, because it wasn't like tucked inside the post or anything, his header. It just kind of typified their day, just that they weren't close to anything. And yeah, I think bookmarked is probably the best way to put it. First and last goal. And I think once we got 8, I was sitting there just absolutely desperate for 10. I really wanted us to get that first 10 goal in Premier League history. I was desperate for that. And I thought maybe when Carvalho went down in the box, I thought maybe that was Mo's opportunity and our obviously number 10 opportunity, but it wasn't to be. But I mean, I'm not going to complain that we won 9-0, but yeah, it was just a nice way to seal the day. And Diaz 3 goals in 4 games in the Premier League. I was kind of hoping that this year he would start adding more as far as his contributions and goal contributions. I kind of anticipated that might take a step up and level up, and it looks like we're seeing that, because he was brilliant.
He really was. He absolutely was. And again, he's one of those players that has really, really performed. He again, one of the bright spots against Manchester United, in my opinion. So it was really, really good to see him kind of, reap some reward from, putting in a shift. And, a little side note on the game, I love the fact that the camera panned to Darwin Núñez and he looked really happy as well. And, and I didn't sit there when they kept panning it against Man United. Like, you should have been on that pitch. I was getting really angry that he got sent off again. But today, that
miserable
was
nice. As anyone on Monday. But you're right. He and Thiago looked, relaxed, and they were enjoying what they were watching today.
They were, guys. I think we pretty much. I think it was an overall really, really good performance. I think it was exactly what we needed. I felt like it was a team performance. And, some side positives for me was the improvement of the goal difference. We're on par with Man City there, and which is good considering, you got to take it. You have to take everything that you can. And again, a clean sheet for Alisson. The defence not really been asked any kind of questions. Bournemouth didn't do anything, which is absolutely fine. Do that all day. All the Premier League teams do that. I will take that. But, so many positives in that regard. But so many good individual performances. But your man of the match shouts. We got to do it today, obviously. So, Lisa, I'm going to come to you.
I think I have to go for Bobby, just because it was such a wonderful turnaround. And then you can't ignore 2 goals and 3 assists, however many, multiple assists. Yeah, I think it needs to go to Firmino. And again, there really isn't. So many of them played so well today. But yeah, my favorite goal, of course, is Harvey's. But my man of the match is Bobby Firmino.
I love it. And you're absolutely spot on. 3 assists, 2 goals. That was Bobby Firmino. He's also my man of the match for those numbers as well. I think he looked sharp from the get-go. Del just said VVD has finally got his aura back. Yeah, hopefully people can shut up about him. Tom, I'm going to come to you. Your man of the match.
Honourable mentions for Harvey, for Bobby. I thought Fab was really good today as well. Trent was the Rolls Royce that we love to see, but you can't look past Bobby as man of the match.
There you go, guys. We're all agreeing that Bobby Firmino is the man of the match, and if you've got a different shout, feel free to tweet us, comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. That is pretty much. That is the end of the Nina Kauser show. Absolutely love that. And before I go, I want to say a massive thank you to our callers, Sandeep and Kieran. And of course to Lisa, Marie and Tom and everyone that joined us live on Discord. But before I go, I'm going to get some plugs. Lisa, anything you'd like to plug, and where can people find you on social media?
Okay, you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at LMarieMH. And latest episode of the main AI pod was recorded yesterday and released last night. And, it was It was an interesting discussion, and I would have been very interested. Let me use the same word twice. Interested to see that if we recorded it, say, later today, how different a pod it would have been. But that's okay, because we were recording based on what we were feeling at the time. But no, it was fun. So check me and Trev and Guy out, and we've pretty much have been hitting it on a regular basis on Fridays. So should be back next week as well.
Wonderful stuff. And yep, it's amazing what 24 hours can do to the mood. Tom, what about you? Is there anything you'd like to plug, and where can people find you on social media?
Social media, so Twitter, I'm at Tom on the Cop, Instagram, TomJames_RE, and then no pods lined up, but I'm sure I'll be back very soon.
Indeed, give this guy a follow. He's excellent, and you'll be hearing him a lot more on the Nina Kauser show. From my side of plugs, I will kind of plug Tom as I plug myself. Tom was my guest on the Euro Incision podcast where we react to the Champions League draw. Myself, Tom, and Justin did that. So do check that out, guys. If you've not listened to it, really had such a laugh with it. And again, so much insight. I actually think we were quite good on it. So do give that a listen. And also, I do the Nina Kauser show thing on Instagram, so give me a follow on Instagram as well, guys. I'd really, really appreciate it. I'll be back on Wednesday post-match for the Newcastle game, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed the pod as much as the result. Take care. Till next time, up the Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.